So is this your first Jobcorp?
Yeah.
What's it like?
I'd have to say it's pretty nice, you know.
This is day 5 of it. What classes do you have?
We're not really doing classes yet. We're just going through like introduction to everything, you know, like going over the rules with us, everything like that.
Cool.
I think Wednesday, since Monday's a holiday, is when we're actually starting class.
So that's coming up just next week.
Yeah.
And what kind of job will you be doing? Do you know?
Psychology.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was my degree, psychology. You know anything about it?
I took a class in high school, yeah. Got college credits for it, actually.
It seemed interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I think is interesting about psychology is, well, it's vast. I mean, it's, you know, the mind is huge and important. But like, it's really relevant to how sociology and how people interact with each other.
I took that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a huge overlap there because.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, whatever somebody else is doing, you do. So if everybody plays hacky sack at your Jobcorp meeting, you do that.
Yeah.
If everybody yawns, you do that. So that's sociological, but it's also psychological. How open are you to imitating others? How open are you to? And then also you realize psychopaths, they exist. They don't care how you feel. They don't care what's going on in your life.
Yeah. I always thought that was sociopaths that didn't care.
Yeah. I don't know how I would distinguish between the two. You know, it's and I haven't really. That's abnormal psychology, and if you think of it as just a developmental emergent phenomenon, somebody that really doesn't care, doesn't have mirror neurons for other people. They see other people suffering and they can just live with it.
Yeah.
And they can even engage directly with it and increase the suffering without feeling any kind of guilt or pain.
Yeah, remorse.
Or those people, or with a severely limited ability to feel that remorse. Those people oftentimes mimic what normal people do when they rise to power. Like President Bush caused incredible pain and grief, right?
Yeah.
But he was not a psychopath in the sense that he could obviously feel other people's emotions, and he had mirror neurons. He cared about people knowing that he knew their names and that, right?
Yeah.
But when it came to policy, when it came to what he did, he would cause great pain.
Yeah.
And so, whereas what I do, I'm niggering the N-word, right?
Yeah.
I cause in person horror and niggerphobia and concern and terror and difficulty, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts about racism, discomfort. Not in this interview because everybody was chill, but I cause that sometimes.
Yeah,
and
I can understand.
And yet, the policy of niggeritarianism would cause great good. So, like, as a reverse George Bush, I feel like my impact is tiny, his impact was huge. I have to squash my feelings of concern about people's emotions and temporary fleeting emotions and
yeah, I can understand that.
Whereas he had to emphasize his ability to be a compassionate conservative and to feel people's emotions while he's doing great evil.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to me because obviously I want more of me than less of him, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you want to do more good than, you know, somebody else's harm.
And it's good to do good even if it causes temporary pain, and that harm, even if it feels good initially, politically or whatever. Yeah. For instance, I think that us celebrating the murder of Osama bin Laden is kind of peculiar. It's not really, it's alien. I'm aware that Osama bin Laden himself was a murderer. But actually, ideally, what we would do would be arrest people that did that kind of thing.
And put them into jail.
Yeah. And the strange thing is Pakistan didn't agree. I mean, essentially as an entire nation, Pakistan has a lot of resentment for us, just as a people. And yet, some of them obviously probably know better. And how do you deal with niggerity? Everybody's different. Everybody's, so psychology is beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
So one thing I deal with is taboos. Camera phobia is fear of being recorded, or the taboo over having a camera out. Niggerphobia is the taboo over saying the word nigger. But then also nudity is taboo, and
yeah, cannibalism,
right,
things like that.
And cannibalism, if you've got their will, it's not that bad. Like if they say in their will, you can eat my leg, then I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
But nobody puts that in their will, and it's pretty much so.
Yeah.
So actually, cannibalism's kind of only relevant to Papua New Guinea, unless we start shifting our policies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is white taboo.
Yeah. Like even some tattoos, gangs, things like that, they're all considered taboo.
Well, tattoo phobia actually is where taboos are relevant to economics. So there's fields like neuroeconomics that psychologists can get into, but with tattoo phobia, you can't apply it Starbucks with a visible tattoo or piercing.
I know.
And so boycott them.
Yeah, definitely. Like body piercings too, like, you know.
Yeah. Visible piercings, they won't let them. Unless, I guess, ear piercings and subtle ones, but it's essentially they're just conservative, and there's no, and yet they took a lot of brunt because they wouldn't send, I guess, coffee to the troops or something, and so for conservatives they take some risks.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Will you say proud to be a nigger with me?
Yeah, proud to be a nigger.
I mean, there it is. I'm proud to be a nigger too. I'm really glad I met you.
Yeah.
It's a bad day, and now I'm feeling good. Honestly, I love this turning point for America, because never before have there been so many proud to be a niggers, so ptbans.
Yeah.
And also never before has there been as much convoluted and challenged freedom.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of freedoms, but they're at risk a lot of the time.
Yeah.
All right.
People seem more open-minded too now. Like before, they wouldn't even accept left-handed people, like, you know, in society.
And Ned Flanders took over.
No.
I'm just joking. You know The Simpsons.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
But yeah, but the fear of left-handed people actually came from the ancient Romans, because a person could shake with his right hand, which was custom, and have his other hand behind his back with a knife.
Yeah. And if you think about it, sinister in Latin is left, and yet in English it's evil.
Yeah.
And how's that fair, really? And yet lefties are natural, just like gays, and they're going to come in every generation, and you'll be able to recognize them in school.
Yeah. It's biological, you know. It's in your genes, whether you're left or right-handed, whether, you know.
There should just be a certain number of left-handed desks in every classroom, you know.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be a surprise.
Yeah. Like, do you have a pen?
Let me see.